Well, welcome to Chatting with Charity. Today I'm chatting with Claire, the designer and CEO of White Rhino Bags. Welcome, Claire.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
The pleasure is all mine. I am so excited that you get to be my first interview. I love your bags.
Thank you.
So, what inspired you to start the White Rhino bag line?
Oh, that's a really good question. So I am a vegan, and I am also a musician, and I happen to be looking for a new backpack that I could take with me on tour, on the road, something that was really cool, kind of funky, kind of unique, kind of had like a rock and roll vibe to it, but something that was, practical and big enough to put all of my stuff, something that wouldn't get damaged easy. Tour life can be kind of grungy. And of course, I needed it to fit in with my ethics and my morals and be a vegan piece. And I just could not find anything. Like there was just nothing on the market like what I had envisioned. So I decided that I would just make it myself, basically.
Why not? So, what materials do you use for your pieces then?
Yeah, so we started out using a lot of kind of rescued and upcycled materials, a lot of the synthetic kind of leather alternatives that were on the market, but now we have started incorporating a lot more plant-based and recycled materials, which I'm really excited about. The whole concept of vegan leather has really just exploded and has really come so far in such a short amount of time. So there's lots of really innovative and cool materials happening as we speak.
Yeah, there is. It's crazy how many new products are out there. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So then, how important is sustainability to you?
Yeah, so sustainability has been definitely like a big kind of like a key word, especially within vegan fashion, because kind of back in the olden days, having a vegan alternative to something usually meant that it was synthetic, that it was man-made, that it didn't maybe have all of those sustainable qualities that we're really looking for today. So sustainability has been a huge part of the brand's development, and a big goal of ours is to always be incorporating more and more sustainable practices and materials into the brand. And I feel like in a few short years, we've done a really good job of that. And I'm looking forward to all of the new things that are coming up, some surprises coming closer to the end of the year. And yeah, it's a journey, and sustainability is a huge part of how we choose to go forward.
Oh, I can't wait to find out what these prices are. So I know that your company donates some of your proceeds to um, I believe it's the World Animal Protection.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. We have an ongoing partnership with World Animal Protection US. I love them. I think that they do really great work all around the world. They are an international organization, and they specialize in animal welfare, rescue, and rehabilitation, not only within like the wildlife critically endangered animals, but also with domestic animals as well. So their reach is really comprehensive, and I really love that they do kind of have a plant-based message, and they have some really innovative programs ongoing. I definitely suggest you look them up. They have all kinds of things going on and lots of ways to get involved. So we donate 3% of all of our proceeds to them. And we also work with a number of different smaller local welfare and rescue organizations ongoing. So like every month or so, we will partner up with somebody and try to do a little bit of good and find new and creative ways to keep giving back. That's really important to me.
I love that. Absolutely. So a little birdie told me that you've got a little event coming up soon. Would you care to elaborate on that?
Yes, thank you so much for mentioning. Yes, so we have recently switched our business model. Typically within the fashion industry, a brand will release, 2 or 3, sometimes 4 seasons in advance, and they'll have kind of like a collection, and they'll launch that for whatever the next season will be. And we're kind of going against that. We're saying, okay, well, how do we scale this back, and how do we act a little bit more in harmony with what's actually happening right now in terms of what we actually need in fashion accessories, and produce things a little bit more mindfully. So instead of kind of having like the designs and the ideas and everything inventory all ready to go in advance, we are trying something new. So it's going to be all made to order. So we won't produce anything until it has a home to go to, and it's going to be a micro collection. So instead of several pieces for the following season, we're going to have just a few hand-picked designs for the current season. So it's all very real time, and we're also going to be showing you actually how my design process works and how I come up with my concepts, how it goes basically from concept all the way to creation in this virtual viewing party. So that's going to be April the 1st. It is all online. We're not doing any, real life runways quite yet, but it's a virtual experience. You get to kind of see everything behind the scenes, how it all comes together. And then there will be kind of like an artistic runway show style kind of a party showcasing the items in the micro collection. So I'm super excited about that. If that's something that you're interested in, or you've ever wondered kind of how these things come to be, I definitely recommend you sign up. It's free to sign up. You just go to the website under events. Yeah, it's free to sign up. There will be a replay, but if you attend live, then you can actually interact with me and the team and ask questions and stuff like that. And it's free, but there are only so many seats. So if you do want to come, make sure you just sign up sooner than later.
All right, I'll sign right on up. Definitely want to do that. That sounds fantastic.
Thank you.
So what would you say veganism means to you?
Oh, I mean, that's such a big question. It means so much. It is such a huge part of my life now, I think. And it's something that means something a little bit different to everyone. But for me, I think that the key things about it are just like living in harmony with the other creatures and the other beings that we share the world with, and having that kind of symbiotic relationship where we're not taking more than we need, and we're not treating others in any kind of a way that we ourselves wouldn't want to be treated, like the earth and all of the creatures that we share it with, like it's an organism in itself, you know what I mean? And there's balance to it. And if we get too wild and crazy with how we're interacting with everything else, it throws the whole balance out of whack, and then nobody wins, right? So for me, veganism, it's a lot to do with finding my place in the world and existing in that space in a way that is not doing any harm to anyone else. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yes, it totally makes sense. It makes sense
okay.
to me. And then my last question for you is, if you could correct one vegan misconception, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one too. And that's something I've thought about a lot. And of course, there's many. There's always going to be misconceptions, and education, and taking it upon ourselves to investigate and do the research is really important. But I think the concept that veganism would in some way be restrictive, I think is a really interesting one. That's something that I hear a lot. That's something that even, myself, before I made the transition, I was concerned about. Is it going to be too restrictive? Is it going to be too difficult for me to make the change? Am I going to not have enough options? Like those kind of thoughts. And I mean, that's wildly incorrect. I mean, since going vegan now, know so much more about just all of the different nutrients that we can consume, so many different kinds of plants and grains and legumes, and just like it's so much more than I would have known before, following like the very stereotypical North American diet. I mean, there's a whole world of food out there, and just different ways of preparing it, and spices, and I mean, it's certainly not restrictive. If anything, it's going to open up your whole life.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. Well, Thank you for joining us. Everyone, this was Claire again, White Rhino Bags. Definitely go and sign up. Check out April 1st, that event. How cool is it going to be to see from creation or concept to creation? I love that. I love the made to order, how unique and special it'll feel for the individual that gets that bag. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much again for having me. This has been so fun.
Great. Well, again, it was my pleasure, and I look forward to chatting with you more next.
You bet.
Bye.